All right, welcome to Local Social Pub Nerd Night, episode 1.75.
What is going on, everyone? How you doing?
Oh, God, help me.
God, guys, literally, this is like our third time recording.
I love how the people that shoot the goddamn thing can't get the thing to work.
It's so hard when you are, only on the technical side. And you also have to do both. You have to be the on-camera talent.
You can't monitor it.
You can't. You can't monitor it and make sure everything's going okay. It's so hard. But welcome, guys. This is the first time that you're going to see us, but this is like the third time that we've seen you, pretty much.
I'm slowly losing my mind.
Only a little bit. We've been locked up in this room for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Almost
12 hours.
Okay, let's intro ourselves.
Let's go ahead for an intro. I'm Tyler Tamburino. I am a filmmaker in Orlando, Florida. That's just kind of a blanket of what I do. I work for Privada, so if there's any, videos out there on privadacigarclub.com or on YouTube, it's probably me. It's either on the website or on, YouTube or Instagram or anything like that. If there's any video, William or I are probably behind it.
Yeah, my name is William, better known as Bronx. If you watch any of the other content, I am the producer and editor for Local Social Pub, Mainline, and this one. And I am assistant producer and audio mastermind on the rest of the Privada Cigar Club channel. Outside of that, I do some work in esports and video games. All around, have a good time.
We're just a couple of fun guys.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Gen Z, we got to be perfect.
Yes. So let's talk about the reason why we wanted to start this podcast.
All right.
Where did it start? Pretty much William and I met each other maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Okay. But we're best buddies, and we, just wanted to kind of start a podcast because it's both of our interests. And we also wanted to give a different perspective on kind of the behind the scenes of like what we do and what we're interested in. And, we're also big fans of the LSP podcast, the Mainline. So,
I think giving more perspectives.
I think that's pretty much it. I think that's my main point with it.
And sometimes it's like I hear a lot of complaining from the older generation about Gen Z, and I'm like, you know what? We'll speak our minds. And I know there are other podcasts that talk like this, but I'm like, you don't see a lot of like the regular guy's perspective. You really see the extreme on either end.
I agree.
I
completely agree.
Right?
We
just introed.
Yes.
Let's get into our first topic. I think we talked about our perspectives.
Yeah, we did talk about our perspectives a lot.
I think that it's hard sometimes. I think every generation kind of hates themselves.
Being a Gen Zer.
Well, yeah. I think every generation hates the other generations.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like a normal thing that people...
You'd see the boomers always hate the millennials.
Yes, I agree. And millennials hate Gen Z.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand why. I don't know why it has to be like that. Because I don't know. Maybe I'm just still young, but like I don't have any hate towards any other generation. I don't know. Do you?
Do I want to get into this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have hate.
No.
I have annoyance.
Okay, that's different. I think that's different.
I think constantly ragging on a generation is rough.
Yeah, I think.
Now, don't get me wrong. Our generation is fucked up.
I mean, yeah.
Do you see
I
the
think
shit some of them are doing?
No, I agree. I think some of the people in our generation are fucked up, but I think there's that in every generation.
I can't let myself get canceled in the first episode.
Should we do this?
Hey, we're very professional.
Yeah,
we do like this to make the cigars.
We do like this to
smell
the cigars. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're going crazy. We're going a little crazy. But go ahead though. I think,
So I'm not going to cancel myself on the first episode, but like,
we'll save that for the second one.
Yeah, right. When if we get a chance to shoot it, it's rough. Like, I look at my generation and I think there's a lot of pent up aggression.
I agree. There's a lot of anger,
and they're kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like our generation is the first true generation that grew up with the internet.
Yes.
Now we're not iPad kids.
No, we're
I
not
was
iPad
thank
kids.
God.
No.
I couldn't imagine. Like I
Dude.
could not imagine growing up with an iPad in my hand
I don't know.
all the
man.
time.
I feel like that's like it's your organ. Like
Yeah,
if
it's
you
like you're severing a part of yourself.
Yes, like if you grow up with an iPad, like that's like you have to have your iPad the entire time. Like
Yeah,
that
I
you're
can't.
alive.
I can't.
I don't know. Are you going to give your kid an
No,
iPad?
never.
Okay.
Oh no, I wouldn't say never
Mhm.
because I play games on the iPad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not getting my kid. I'm not having my kid be an iPad kid.
No, I don't want that. Like, I do get though, like in restaurants, say a kid's crying or whatever. I'm like, damn, just give that fucking kid an iPad.
That's the worst time to do it. Never.
I know, but
No,
for
no,
my
no.
sake, I'm
Yeah,
like,
but-
damn, give that kid an iPad.
Well, here's the
Like, he
thing.
needs
I don't want
show-
to do that because I think when they're now that's easy to say not having kids, right? Being a young man with no kids, no
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I don't think it's not worth it.
Right.
Like to give a kid like you make them dependent on it and you become dependent on it.
Yeah.
Because to stop your kid from crying, you hand him the iPad. You put on a movie. You put
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a tool, yes. I don't think I think growing up, I think until my kid is like 8 or 10,
Yeah.
I'm not giving them an iPad.
No, I agree.
I think you're starting to see it with the the generation after us. These kids are fucked up.
I know.
Like they have no attention span.
Anxiety's through the roof.
Anxiety's through the roof. Depression's through the roof.
Yep.
Because you're always looking at other people's lives.
Yeah.
Let's talk about social media. I work in social media, and it
about
is
it.
the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't have to use social media for work, and I'm being 100% honest, I would never go on social media.
It does kind of suck that social media is our job.
I mean, it doesn't suck.
I
enjoy.
No,
that
I enjoy
aspect.
doing that. Yes, but when you go ahead and talk about like, oh, social media is the worst thing, it's like, don't you do that for work? I'm like, yeah, I do.
That's
I
hard to
do.
do.
So I am
It's
maybe
hard- it's
part
hard
of the
to talk
problem.
about it.
I am maybe
I'm not part
of
of the problem. I don't post on social media.
Okay.
I do it for work. I do it for work.
Yes.
If you look at any of my personal social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, if people still use that, Snapchat,
Yeah.
I don't use them.
So
my
how
most
the
active
hell are
social
we
media
going
is
to tell
LinkedIn.
people about this podcast?
Well, I'll post about the podcast.
Okay, he'll post about the podcast.
I'll post about the podcast.
You got to post about the podcast.
I'm not. I don't actively use my social medias because I don't want to get sucked into that. Because
Yeah.
I used to.
Yeah.
Go back a year and a half, and I got stuck in the swipe. You can see
Swipe
it.
culture.
You can see it. Culture. Everything's
Swipe
culture.
everything's culture
You can
these
see
days.
it now. You'll see someone just like.
William and I had a conversation about Tinder.
Oh my god.
And we were talking about like how basically just like dating and the dating world in general. And
blows.
I know.
You can't talk about it. You're in a healthy relationship. I'm a single man.
Okay, but
The struggle's real.
I haven't always been in a healthy relationship. I've been in fucked up relationships. I've been in no relationship, and there's always been bad parts. And I think
there's always issues.
there's always issues in everything.
That's why you're not in those relationships anymore.
Exactly. You're damn right. But we were talking about Tinder and how it's
Yeah.
so disposable.
Yeah.
I like that word because like it's a great word to describe it by. I was only on Tinder for maybe a week, let's just say. And I felt like terrible about myself. Like I just
Yeah.
felt like okay, it's very unhealthy.
It's a numbers game, bro.
It is. It's very unhealthy.
You told me you're
because
very selective, though.
I am. I got no swipes.
All you're doing is looking for girls with big asses. You're like, she has a small butt. She has a small butt. She has a small butt.
Okay, maybe. No, I'm kidding. But when you're on Tinder, you're kind of like mainly doing it off of looks, I think.
There's no substance to that.
No.
Even apps that try to get to that.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Bumble. not
Yeah.
even Bumble. Like Hinge.
Yeah.
Like I've been on all three.
Right.
I was on 3 for a while. The last 6 months, I'm happy to say Okay, so I installed them because I got tired of you just feel hollow inside.
Yeah.
And you're just swiping. Again, you can see it. Someone just.
Well,
Eh.
it's mind numbing.
Well, you lose. Well, and we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
You went on Snapchat.
Yeah.
And it's pervasive. It's that TikTok thing
Yeah.
that you see in everything now. It's like you can tell when people are just swiping. A good friend of mine and mentor was talking about it with his kids. How he's like, they're not on social media, and that's another thing I want to get into. I'm not letting my kids on social media.
Okay.
At least for
I'm not either.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not letting. Okay.
but it's the swipe because you can see
Yeah.
it, and he's like. He saw his kids doing it, and he knows
It's
they're
just
not on TikTok,
mind-numbing.
they're not on Instagram, they're not on Facebook. He's like, where are you on? YouTube. It's everywhere now. And it's because it's like people have lost the attention span. And I'm telling you, it's that generation of kids that can't focus. My generation can't focus. More and more people have ADHD because you need that activity all the time. Back in the day, you would go play outside or you would read a book.
Yeah.
And you would do stuff, and it would teach you patience.
Yeah, I agree.
There's nothing teaching you patience anymore.
No, especially with
Instant
all of this
gratification.
like short form video
Yeah.
and content. It's it's definitely gotten to a point where it's like rough, where it's
really
just
rough.
like it isn't doing us good anymore. You
No.
know, like I'll say there is some good things for social media, but I feel like it's really lost its touch. It's lost its meaning. I at least that's what I think.
It used to be a place to share yourself
Yeah.
and your life.
Yeah.
Now everything's so fake. I'll give you an example. I have girls who I'm friends with that will tell me that they'll take selfies of themselves
Okay.
and they'll find a really hot selfie. Be like, oh, I look great in that photo. And not post it.
Yeah, you keep it locked up in the vault.
They keep it locked up until a day they're not feeling great about themselves.
Yeah.
And then they post it because those likes, those dopamine hits that you
Yeah.
get when you get those likes, they're like, I feel like hot shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Why are we so dependent on what everyone else thinks about ourselves?
Dude.
People are more depressed than they've ever been, more anxious than they've ever been, more suicidal than they've ever been. It's because like we're in this cycle of all we ever see is the best part of people's lives.
Yeah.
We never see the crap that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, I'm not posting when a girl cheats on me.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh, I'm so. Now there are people that do it.
There are people that do that
'cause
too.
but they're doing it for the same reason of wanting the attention, which is probably the same reason the girl left them.
I agree.
I'm not getting into that.
But I know what you mean.
You're not posting the negative shit. You're not like, oh my God, I just lost my car.
Just got fired.
Yeah, you're not posting that because you don't
Yeah.
feel good about it.
No, I wouldn't
You're only
post that
posting the
either.
best parts of your life.
Yeah.
You're like, I just won this.
Yeah.
And when all you see is those things, or people traveling all the time, buying new houses, all you see is positive, 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 and you start hating yourself because you're like, everyone's doing so good, I'm doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not how it is. Everyone's doing shit. Everyone's life sucks.
Okay, I don't know about that.
No, but people's lives are good.
Yeah.
My life is great.
My
Don't
life
get me
is
wrong.
great too, and I'm
But there's shit that
thankful.
goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm thankful for all the stuff that I have in my life, but there's
He
bad.
says being happily in a relationship. No, it's fine.
It's true. No,
I know.
That's a great part of my life. It is, but there's also bad parts too. You know, and that's life though.
But the problem
But
is,
nobody is thinking like that.
the problem is we're in a generation where everybody medicates.
Yeah.
How many? Like, I know a lot of my friends who are like, "Oh, dude, I get high every day, and
Oh,
then
true.
and then when they don't, they feel depressed."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, bro, maybe if you stop getting high every day,
Yeah. I do think that is an issue.
you wouldn't be as
especially, like,
depressed."
I do agree. I think
Or everybody thinks they have a problem now.
yeah.
It's hip to have a disorder.
Yeah, it is. It's not cool to be negative.
No.
I think like people think it's so cool to hate everything
Oh.
and like being happy is corny. I don't think that. I think like
I think you walk into your words.
I think being happy is like such a cool thing to work for in your life. I think, everybody should be able to pursue happiness without feeling corny about
Absolutely. Well, and I think this is another problem. I think people don't speak positive into their life. We live in a generation where everybody's nitpicking the negatives.
Yeah.
Where it's like, "Oh, I could be thinner." Now, don't get me wrong, this is an issue. I don't think I'm a guy, so I hear it from people in the best way possible, and I take it the best way possible. I've lost 40 pounds in the last 6 months.
it. Mm-hmm. Good for you.
It's not about that, but it's I had guys in my life that were like, "Dude, you should probably hit the gym."
Really?
And I took that like I should probably hit the gym.
Yeah.
If these people that care about me are telling me I should probably hit the gym, I should probably hit the gym. And you know what? I feel better. I sleep better. I have more energy. and damn does my back feel better.
Yeah.
Dude, I was in a lot of pain for a while.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize how much that factored in. But if you like, and I'll hear it, there are people that won't say that.
Yeah.
Like I've talked to my sister a lot about this, and she talks about how she like my sister is by no means overweight.
Mm-hmm.
She's very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But girls will never tell each other, hey, you should probably go to the gym.
No, that is not a.
It's always a,
yeah.
bitch, slay, you look great.
Yeah.
And I do think it's exactly right. And I'll see it, and I'm not gonna. I'm just saying, like, I might get canceled for this, but like, there's nobody
on the first episode, dude.
Yeah, there's nobody speaking into their life saying, hey, you should probably watch what you eat.
I think what I'm trying to get at with this conversation is I think that people just need to speak more positively about themselves.
Yeah,
you know,
and this is what I was getting at is you walk into the words you speak.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're and I didn't believe in a lot of this stuff, but like I've learned it to be true, is that if all you constantly are saying in your life is negative things about yourself.
Right.
Oh, I don't look good.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't this. Oh, I don't that.
You're not gonna.
I'm
look
never
good.
gonna get
You're not
this.
gonna
I'm
be
never
happy.
gonna get that.
Yeah.
You're just building. Oh, I'll never be happy. I'll never be in a good relationship. You're just compounding that, and you will walk into the things you speak.
Mm-hmm.
If you say to yourself, I'm going to be in a good relationship.
Yeah.
I'm going to be successful. I'm going to win in life.
Mm-hmm. You will.
Your mind will start to internalize that.
Yeah.
And people, and I've noticed this, the amount of people that say, oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm anxious. Oh, I don't know this or that. It's scary.
Yeah.
Because you look at that and it's compounding because those people say that on social media and then they'll get likes.
Well,
and it'll reinforce that aspect.
Here's something that's kind of like
we're already 20 minutes. We're
deep.
We're
We're
deep
only-
in 20 like 10 minutes in.
Dude, I like when, you know, there's like the joke, quote unquote, going around where it's like, oh my God, go kill yourself. Like, oh, do this. I'm going to kill myself. Like, this sucks. Like, that starts to not become a joke anymore.
It starts to bleed into you.
Yeah. And it's like, it starts to become not a joke. It starts to become serious.
And you start to think about it.
Yes. And it's like, it's whatever you are telling yourself, you are not your thoughts, first of all. You are, you know, thoughts are passing by, but if you keep telling yourself, even subconsciously or consciously, that you know, are good, you are winning, you are doing great, you will start to become those things.
You can change how you feel.
And I'm not a person that really believes in, like, you know, spirituality or anything like that, but I do think that manifestation has something that is like true, because that's the only word that I can really think of that describes it.
I think if you look at it clearly, if you have a negative thought in your mind, don't speak it.
Yeah. Don't speak it into existence, at least.
Don't speak it into existence.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have thoughts that come into my mind, and I'll be like, damn, that's negative. I will speak the opposite. Now, I'm a little fanatical when it comes to that now, because I've come from dark places.
Right, absolutely.
I've been in the depths of my mind, of all those things, and coming out of that, I've learned that if I speak positively into my own life,
Right.
I get better.
Yeah.
Surrounding myself with better people. That was another issue I had.
Yeah.
In high school and college, I didn't surround myself with the right people.
Right.
And I found that really hurt me. Mm-hmm. You know, I would sit around my friend group and I would spend time with people, and I didn't realize this until recently, that would speak negatively about me to me, and I'd laugh it off.
Yeah.
But I would realize
Because you thought they were your friends.
because I thought they were my friends.
Yeah.
And I realized that would bleed into me, and I would get depressed.
Yeah.
I would get anxious. I would feel terrible about myself.
Yeah.
And I want to make the distinction between that and somebody telling you how to improve yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference.
Of course.
And that's an issue I see, is that people surround themselves with the wrong people. And I've heard this, you're the sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you're surrounding yourself with drunks, druggies, people that have nothing going on in their lives, well, you're not going to have anything going on in your life.
No. Because you're doing more than the people in the puddle.
You never want to be the smartest person in the room.
No.
And if you are, you got to
Absolutely.
get into a different room.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're doing more stuff in a puddle when you could be doing more stuff in
An ocean.
a pool or an ocean or something like that. You
and
got to
as
move
soon as
up.
I changed the people, but you push yourself.
Yeah.
And I found that as soon as I got around better people, my life got better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's something to that.
I think so, dude. But in lighter news, let's talk about Halloween Horror Nights just put out their tickets. And
Jeez.
William is not excited, but I am because I'm a big Halloween Horror Nights person. They're going to be starting on September 1st. Is
The fact that they posted
the
fact that they posted tickets, it starts in September. They posted tickets in March.
Dude, there's a huge demand for Halloween Horror Nights fans.
No, there's not.
Yes, there is.
Halloween Horror Nights is a joke.
To you,
It's
okay?
so stupid.
No, it's not.
Who electively wants to go and get scared?
A lot of people.
That's ridiculous. People are like masochistic.
I don't know. Maybe it
No.
probably is a little bit of that. Yeah, I agree. But people are big Horror Nights fans, and I've been one since 2014.
Because you watched a scary movie
Probably.
as a child
yeah.
and you were poisoned.
I probably have some trauma. Yes.
It's called trauma.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what it is.
probably trauma.
You have trauma.
I have trauma. But so they're starting on September 1st, which is my birthday. That's the first day that they are opening. They have their tickets out now. It's basically the same tickets as last time. And it's going until October 31st. The first house that they announced is a Chucky house, which is
Why do you have
cool.
such a grin for that? Do you like murderous people in your house?
Yes, I do.
Yes, such a problem.
Yeah, I do. But I want to see if I can.
I've never understood those movies.
Okay.
So I'll say this.
God.
I watched The Last of Us.
Okay, yes.
I like The Last of Us.
The Last of Us is amazing.
But I could never watch something like The Walking Dead.
Really?
Because it's so stupid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of horror fans know that it's stupid. But it's more of like a kind of a guilty pleasure type thing. Which, by the way, I don't believe in guilty pleasures. If it pleasures you, it's not. You shouldn't feel guilty about it, unless you're hurting people and being weird.
Then you should feel guilty.
Yeah, you should definitely
And you
feel
probably
guilty.
shouldn't be
probably
doing it.
Should die. Yeah. Depending on what the pleasure is.
Yes.
Just leave it at that.
That gets into other thing, canceling people.
Canceling people, yeah.
Have you seen, I think that's a travesty. I don't think you should be canceled for nonsense, if that makes sense. Obviously.
I think there's
I think there are people that should be punished
yeah.
for bad actions.
Yeah.
But we live in a country where freedom of speech is a thing.
Yeah.
And now there are people that say really, really bad things.
Yeah.
As long as you're not threatening violence, like saying you're going to go kill someone.
Yeah.
I'm like,
then yeah. Yeah.
I think you should have the right to say what you want to say.
I do too. I think there's a time and a place for it though.
See, this isn't.
Here's my thing. Let me just give an example. Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Okay.
Okay. Not the time and the place for that.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I don't think that was necessary at all.
What, the slap?
Yeah.
I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think Will Smith is a little bit of a bitch.
I do too.
You have your wife that slept with your son's friend and then went on that son's friend's podcast and talked about it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'd leave that bitch.
Oh yeah. I don't it's crazy.
I don't want to get into the drama of it, but bro,
it's crazy, dude.
And then I swear to God, he didn't make a comment about it, and then she gave him a look, and then he got up and slapped him.
Yeah. It's
And they
like
live
he
in this
probably
bubble
wouldn't care.
of oh, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But regular people are like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. No, I
You walked
agree.
up and just whacked a dude.
Yep.
Did you see Chris Rock's special?
No, I wanted to though.
So good.
I wanted to. I heard he talks a lot about it.
He handles it. He's like, it's not like, okay, he handles the situation, and this is the thing I'll say is there are ways to handle things.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a perfect example. Why are you hitting people?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
we're
so
off track. We're off
stupid.
track. But canceling people.
Yeah.
Somebody who can't be canceled.
But that's
Bill
my
Burr,
point. Who can't be?
Who
No,
this dude
yeah.
said he's
He can say
grandfathered in.
anything.
But that's been his brand forever though.
Yeah.
He can say whatever he wants,
Yeah.
and because he's just the way it is,
Yeah.
people don't cancel him.
No, people don't care. I actually saw him live.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have to put your phone on one of those baggy things?
Yes.
What is up with that?
I don't know. I think it's probably a copyright thing. I think it's
No bootlegs.
it was weird, dude. It was really weird. Like
So extra.
It kind of is, but I think they were recording a special.
Yeah.
So I think that it's like I can kind of understand.
Well,
that.
I can get if you're recording a special for like if Comedy Central paid however much money for you don't want it going out.
Well, I think that's what it was. I think that's what they did. I think that's why, which I understand.
But it's still like.
But it's a little extra. Like,
it's like I'm not going to need my phone for 2 hours.
Yeah, because like you might, and I think there was a thing. They had some sort of deal in place where you can like get up and go and get it unlocked or whatever. But because it locks, like the bag actually locks. And you need a device to open it, That's so stupid. It's kind of crazy. And I actually had to do that. I went to the Prince Museum in Minnesota, had to do that as well.
Really?
Yes. It's like his house, dude.
That's so weird.
It's very strange. It was very strange. But I don't know. That's the same thing with like Disney, too. Like Disney, if you are an employee there, background.
Oh, you can't record them backstage.
Can't do anything backstage, which is it's understandable.
I get that,
but I like when I found out like how strict it was. It's crazy, dude.
Well, because it's like behind the magic.
Yes,
they don't want people to see behind the curtain.
Yeah,
because it kind of breaks that veil of this is a perfect environment.
I agree. It is kind of like scary in a way, but also like I get it. Because Disney wouldn't be Disney without.
Well, there are a lot of jobs where you can't have your phone.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But there are issues here and there. But let's talk about. Oh, geez, let's get into some stuff.
Okay.
Some of this stuff.
Let's do it.
The Mario movie.
The what?
The Mario movie.
The Marios.
Don't get me going here. I'm from New York.
Yeah, we're from New York over here.
You're not from New York. You're some Florida.
I'm a Florida boy. That's what I am. Anyway,
I can't wait for the music for it to come out. I'm excited
for
the musical version, starring Jack Black
and Chris Pratt. So I love
choreographed dance numbers.
No, literally, I love Jack Black so much.
So good.
But you expressed to me that you're a little nervous for Chris Pratt to play Mario
because it's not. So here's the issue. Mario has a very specific voice. It's me, Mario. Woohoo! That's how it's been forever.
Yep.
And now Chris, he literally said he's going to be using his voice,
which is a little strange to me.
It's tough.
It's a little strange.
It's like, is that going to be the voice in the games?
Yeah.
Or is it just the movie? Because it feels weird.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a very distant version from what we know Mario as.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I'll just have to find out because
I think video game adaptations into shows are either awesome, or trash.
I agree.
One of two options. We've had Mario movies before.
Yes. Yeah. Did I tell you about that?
What?
The Mario movies when I was younger.
What about them?
Okay, so excuse me. When I was little, I would go to Toys R Us.
Okay.
They would have a giant bucket of just movies, like $5 movies and $5 video games that nobody really wanted. They weren't that popular. Yeah. There were like cartoon shorts of
cartoon.
Yeah, like cartoon.
I never thought there was an animated thing. I know there was a live action one that I watched.
Okay,
it was really, really bad.
Yes, I did.
So bad.
They made that as well. But I'm talking about these cartoon shorts.
Okay.
And I always wanted to see it. I always wanted to look at it. And I never was able to because my dad never let me buy them.
Because your dad knows.
He was like, these are bad, and I'm not exposing you to that. So I was like, that's really weird. And now to this day, like I can't find them anywhere. And like I swear they are real. They are real, but I can't find them anywhere. So I don't know. I don't know.
So I'll say this. Your dad's a lot more hip to it than mine. My dad is not a nerd.
Okay.
Although he did get me into Star Wars.
Okay.
That's like the one redeeming quality for the sequel trilogy.
Yes.
That's the only redeeming quality.
Because you got to see it with your dad?
Because I got to watch Star Wars in the theater with my dad. That was awesome.
There you go.
Now, I'll be honest, the sequel trilogy, other than that, blows hard dick.
Yeah.
So bad. So bad. Come at me. Come at LWBGreenL on Twitter. Try and defend it.
Argue.
Shit movies.
That would be fun. That would be fun if
Garbage
you guys argued.
movies. I'm gonna stick by that. Trash movies.
Go ahead.
Ramming a. No, I'm not even gonna get into it.
Okay.
Ramming a goddamn hyperspeed into another shield.
8 is my favorite Star Wars movie.
All right, guys. This has been Nerd Night. No,
See you guys. No,
I
I'm
can't.
totally
Dude,
joking. It's
garbage movie.
It sucked.
It's like watching only. It's I met someone that said his favorite part of the prequel trilogy was Jar Jar Binks.
Oof.
His favorite part.
Really?
Favorite part was watching the Jar Jar parts.
That's a bummer.
Okay.
That's a bummer.
I know we just got off topic, but Darth Jar Jar.
I think he is a Sith.
He's 100% a Sith.
I think he actually is. Like there were probably plans to make him an actual Sith.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not even joking.
For sure.
But yeah,
I know we're way off topic, but what were we talking about? Gaming movies.
Yes, gaming movies.
Last of Us is great.
Last of Us is amazing. That was honestly probably one of the best, one of the better adaptations that I've seen.
For sure.
Of a movie to a game.
Game of Thrones wasn't a game.
Yes.
But was a great show up until the 8th season.
I agree.
If you just watch up to the 7th season, just let it go.
Yep. I agree.
Great show.
I agree.
I
think.
What other video game shows are there?
I don't really know. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But Last of Us, insane. That was one of the few shows that I've fully followed and watched, other than any Star Wars movie. Because I'll follow any Star Wars show or movie or anything. But Last of Us is come on, dude.
Don't watch the Book of Boba Fett. Just watch episode 5, as it's it's the pre-season 3 prologue.
Yes.
It gives you context for all the things that happen.
Yes.
Because I know people that watch and why is Grogu, Baby Yoda, back with the Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Wasn't he with Luke? Just watch episode 5, and then don't watch any of the rest of it. You don't need to see the Star Wars Power Rangers.
You don't need to see you don't need to see the
Vespas on a dust.
No, just no, no.
But
you can watch it if you want to, but
don't.
Don't.
It's like watching Andor. Why waste your time?
What? I love Andor. Why do you hate it so much?
It's just not good.
Why? How? What is not good about it?
It's just not good.
Why though? You can't say something's not good and not back it up.
It's not Star Wars.
That doesn't. Yes, it is.
No,
yes, it is.
Because you call something Star Wars doesn't make it Star Wars.
That's not it.
It was okay.
I don't.
It's not the Clone Wars.
No, because the Clone Wars is the Clone Wars. I don't believe that you need to have lightsabers and
I never
Jedi
said that.
and the Force.
I love the Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a Jedi. There's multiple Jedis in the Mandalorian.
Me.
And the Mandalorian is something familiar that we know from the prequels.
Not really.
Yeah.
Where's Din Djarin in the prequels?
He's not in the prequels. I'm talking about Mandalorian culture in general.
They don't really dive into that until the Clone Wars.
No, they don't dive into it, but we know it from Jango and Bobo.
I guess.
It's
it's referenced.
It's referenced, and I think it's time to start now to show us the little pockets of what Star Wars can be and should be.
So I would have so here's my thing with Andor.
Okay.
It should they should have just made the Coruscant crime show that they were going to make, that George was going to make.
Oh, I agree. I think that would have
been better.
They
have the script for it.
Yeah,
the same with they have the script for 7, 8, 9 that George wrote. Just go through the World Between Worlds
get me started
that came out.
No, don't do that.
No, do that.
No.
Redcon 7, 8, 9.
No,
make them not real, separate universe.
No.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
Do it. But so my thing though is
we're jumping around here. It's okay.
We are jumping around, but I do really think that Andor is a great show, and I wasn't happy about when I first saw it. I wasn't really happy about Cassian Andor. I was like, why do we have a whole show based on Cassian? Because I feel like there's a lot of other people that we could have based it off of, but
the best parts of that show. We're following the guy organizing the rebellion.
Who?
The dude that paid Cassian.
Oh, Luthen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's cool.
I think it's because I like political dramas.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. I watched House of Cards.
Okay.
And I love that like background.
Yeah.
Stuff. I'm like, I get it. You can't put a whole show on that because not everybody likes it.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to know the behind the scenes minutia of like organizing a rebellion.
Dude, and that's what we get in Andor.
Not really.
Yes, it is.
We get parts of it.
Parts of it, yes, but you got to give it time. It's only one season.
No.
It's only you don't want to like throw up exposition.
No, I'm not saying throwing up exposition, but I'm like showing planning. Like him going behind the scenes, doing things different ways, leading into stuff, I think is the best part.
I think he kind of did that.
He did.
I think
But
they
I
show
think
that
the focus
too.
on Andor and the mission and this and that.
Yeah,
I get
that's
it.
a little
I get it.
meh.
I think you could have blown through a lot of that in like 1 or 2 episodes.
I agree. It was very slow.
They drew it out really long.
Way too.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
This is my issue with the Obi-Wan show. Because it could have been so good, but for like the first 3 episodes, he did nothing.
Yeah.
Now, you don't need to be force powers, all these things, but you go like you jump from him not doing anything to a massive battle with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Where is the training sequence?
Yeah, we need a little bit. I
He
thought
goes from
so
barely
too.
being able to force pull to keep her from falling on the ground. Spoiler alert.
Sorry,
It's been
you
out
should
for a
have
year.
seen it.
Watch this shit. But like he goes from not being able to force pull
Yeah.
to being able to do a full massive duel.
Yeah.
Where's the jump?
Yeah, I agree.
'Cause
I
it's not
do
like an
think they
off and on
rush.
switch.
I do think they rush things sometimes in there, but you know, I also think too that they didn't know if they were going to make a second season and blah blah blah. But I don't think that's an excuse. I will say, but
you can see it in the rating. Like, here's my issue: you go from nothing to massive jumps.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. That's an issue I have across the board with a lot of the Star Wars stuff now. Is that there are these progressions? How many midichlorians does Rey Skywalker, Palpatine, have?
Yeah.
That what took Luke weeks of training, years of training to do, she did in a day.
Rey-
How does the jump progression happen?
yeah, Rey's super OP.
It doesn't make any sense.
She's really.
I don't
OP.
care if she's a Palpatine or not, a clone or not. It doesn't matter. You don't go from 0 to 100 without any training.
She's so OP in all the video games too. Like I don't know why. Yeah,
She's
I know what
the
you're
worst
saying.
character.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nothing against Daisy Ridley, awesome actress.
Love her.
And I agree because there was a lot of exposition. Ryan Johnson ruined the show.
Yeah.
He ruined it with that eighth
episode is a
the eighth
little
episode ruined it because there was so much build up to all these things about her
Yeah.
that there was so much progression that could have happened.
I agree.
Now you'll tell me, oh, she trained with Leia. No.
Yeah.
Like the one training sequence that she
It
spent
was
like,
a clip.
It was like a clip of
It was
like
a clip.
3 weeks of training.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I get Luke trained with Yoda for like a week and became OP, but like there's a
But
difference.
that wasn't
Luke at the end of
also-
but Luke at the end of Mandalorian is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And I felt like Luke at the end of Mandalorian was like Daisy Ridley, Ray Palpatine at the end of episode 7.
Yeah, I agree. But you also got to think too.
And there's no training.
I agree. I do think though that we've been following Luke's story for a really long time.
No, don't get me
and
wrong.
we have
I
a
think
lot of
it should move
context
forward.
on that. I do too.
I think it should move forward. I think she would be a great character. I also think Chekhov's gun. You ever hear of Chekhov's gun?
No.
You're a film major. You haven't heard of Chekhov's gun?
Tchaikovsky?
The gun. Where like if there's a gun on the mantle in the first act of a show or a movie, that gun has to be fired by the second act of the movie.
Yes, I agree.
You can't have
I know what you're saying.
who is it? CT, not CT.
159?
159.
Yeah.
What's the name of the
I don't know.
Okay. You can't have him. God, I hate myself. I know his name. The name will pop up here. You can't have him wield a lightsaber. Look
you mean
like
Finn?
a Jedi. Finn.
Yeah.
Finn. You can't have Finn wield a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Act like a Jedi and then not be a Jedi.
Yeah, I agree.
I wanted the payoff.
But so that was
That would have been so good.
That was Lucasfilm's fault.
Ugh.
It wasn't J.J. Abrams because what they wanted to do is actually I can't remember his real name in real life, but what's Finn's real name?
I don't know.
So he in an interview he mentioned he was like, I love J.J. Abrams and blah blah blah. I really loved seeing where he wanted Finn to go.
Yeah.
But there was so many restrictions during it that they weren't able to let him do that.
Well,
because J.J. Abrams is an amazing filmmaker. And I don't think that he would have fucked up Star Wars like for that reason. Because
again, Disney's fault.
Yeah.
You can't have a stable vision across three movies, changing directors every
You can't
movie.
do it.
Because
No,
every
you
director
can't
comes in.
do it.
Ryan Johnson came in specifically saying he was going to make something divisive that half of the people are going to love, half of the people are going to hate.
Ended up everyone hating it.
And he doesn't like Star Wars.
Yeah, I know.
Bless Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau shutting him down because he made it public that he wanted to shoot he wanted to direct the episode of The Mandalorian. They said
no, and that's good on them. Because I get heated
about this. I'm a Star Wars nerd.
I can't speak highly enough about Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. I think they're amazing and they're doing wonders for the Star Wars community in general. I just think like having directors like switch up. It works in TV sometimes, but having different directors like
you can have different directors in TV shows.
Full feature films doesn't work. You need to. It's more about the writers.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of directors have huge egos.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Johnson, huge ego, thinks he can, come in and just make his own Star Wars.
I haven't seen anything from him that I've liked.
No, I've never been a fan of him. Nobody's really ever heard of him since Star Wars.
Did he shoot Glass Onion?
No, that was
whatever.
Yeah, no,
but
I gotta look it up now. But yeah, so I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
Star Wars is a whole thing. I've been a huge Star Wars fan since I sat down and watched Star Wars.
He did direct.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I could tell. It was okay. I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just like it's crazy to me that like you come in here and
he doesn't
completely
like Star Wars.
Try and change up a loved franchise.
He burns it to the ground. Well, this goes back to Disney buying the scripts George Lucas wrote for 7, 8, 9 and then not using them.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you were given it's like being given the ticket to the mint and not printing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's like Disney, you spent how many $1 billion on Star Wars to just dump it into the ground?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I know. It's unfortunate. Where do you think Star Wars is going to go?
Up. With Dave Filoni as the director of Everything. He's not the president of the company, but he's the director of all of the content now. Not director, but the position's director, whatever it is, VP of design or whatever. He's in charge of all the the yes and no's on stuff, which is where he should be because he was direct apprentice to George Lucas. He was taught everything about Star Wars. He is the best person for that job.
I agree.
I'm very happy with what he's doing. I'm excited for the Ahsoka show. They need to give him and Jon Favreau a movie.
Yeah.
And just let him run with that shit.
I agree. Where do you think the content's gonna go? Where do you think the
they announced the next movie.
Where do you think like it's gonna go?
They said it's gonna be a sequel movie.
Okay. Which I'm fine with.
I'm not.
Okay, that's fine. I was gonna say
because they bombed that shit.
I wanted to bring up shout out Star Wars Stuff Podcast. Love you guys. Shout out Colin. Shout out Brooke. They brought this point up, and I think it's actually a great idea. I would love to see a animation of the sequel trilogy right after the last episode, the most recent episode.
Okay.
I would love to see that. I want to see, Finn training. I want to see what happens afterwards.
Finn training?
Yeah. I want to see. For what? To become a Jedi.
But he's not a Jedi.
I know. That's why I want to see him training.
But he wouldn't be a Jedi.
Why not?
Canonically, he's not a Jedi anymore.
Why?
Because that's what the canon is.
Yeah, I know. But
I read the books.
Yeah, the books. But after, I want it to go from the
end of episode 7.
End of episode 7. Yeah, okay. I want it to go from
and
there.
retcon the rest of it.
Kind of, I guess so. Yeah.
So here's a point I've been enjoying. The Mandalorian. I've been enjoying this because it's giving me context to see how the First Order came to be. Because you can ask yourself, how after like 30 years did they beat the Empire? How'd the Republic crumble in 30 years?
Yeah, I agree.
The New Republic.
Yeah.
And the point that they're making is the New Republic isn't doing the job.
No.
Like, the one thing the Empire got right was they gave representation to all these outer planet systems.
Right.
And the greater populace thought, okay, I had some sort of representation, even though it was an empire, Iron Fist, doing stuff. There were a lot of things that the Empire did right.
Yeah.
Even though, because we only watch the movies from the perspective of
the good
rebellion.
Guys, yeah.
We say they're the good guys.
Well, yes, question, quote unquote, good guys.
As they're framed to the rest of the world, they're a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this. Was the Empire good? No. But at the end of the day, I look at things and I'm like,
there were good things
if you're a
about
regular
it.
galactic citizen, was it really that bad?
I mean, it's completely... We've only really seen the effects it has on the Jedi.
Right? We see
You
it
know?
in the frames of this religious organization.
Yeah.
I love the Jedi. But again, here's the issue. Here's the thing. The Jedi had a problem with him being with Palpatine being a Sith.
Yeah.
The rest of the galaxy really doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, those are just religions.
I agree.
Like, as Han Solo says, hokey religions.
Yeah.
Like, don't dictate the whole world.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I know we're going off on Star Wars. Hard. Shout out
But
Star
that's
Wars
okay.
theory.
Love
all my knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is like, again, guys, this is our first episode, and I want to talk about, Star Wars. I want to talk about the stuff that, get William and I going.
Yeah.
It's
hardcore
like
shit. Like that.
hardcore. Like, this
Hard
is
shit.
what we love. This is what, him and I like,
we're
and that's
digging
what we
into it.
talk about. And Star Wars has always been a big part of my life, and I assume Williams as well. So,
week.
this is what Nerd Night's all about. You know what I'm saying?
It's digging into those topics that we're interested in.
Yes.
And then talking a little bit of like,
a little bit of deep stuff sometimes.
yeah,
a little bit of deep.
like we were talking about social media, its impacts on people. But like, what a lot of people don't look at is perspective. It's like you look at the perspective from. I think all you see online is polarizing perspectives.
I agree.
There's no like you'll look at podcasts, and all you'll see is people on super far ends of the spectrum arguing.
Yeah.
There's no agreement.
Right.
I'm like, the majority of people are down the middle on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this way, that way. And having a regular conversation and be like, yeah, there are people in Gen Z that are lunatics.
Yeah, of course.
That are
There's
burning
lunatics
places down.
everywhere.
But like, when I look at the end of the day, I'm like, most of us are just regular people.
We're just regular dudes. Like,
And like, I think the radicals give us a bad name. And I think that's across everything too.
yeah,
Now, it's a problem.
it is.
But nerds.
And we're just here trying to put our perspective on it.
We're just going to cut it up, have a good conversation,
Yeah.
talk about the stuff that makes us passionate about.
Exactly.
Again, throw stuff in the comments if you guys have other topics you think we should talk about.
Yeah.
If we're given another shot at making another episode.
Well, we've already made 3, so
Yeah, well,
that you guys will never see. But,
yeah. But no, dude, it's good.
Yeah, we're excited. We're happy to, be doing this. And we want to, like, I want to get a structure at least kind of going. Like, I want to, be able to, like, talk about your comments and, like, stuff like that and respond to you guys. Like, we want to be
have
active.
real discussions.
We want to be active on this. And, we're just, hopefully here to stay. And we want to, be able to, like,
So
keep
what's your
doing
take
this.
on... Oh, gosh. Do we want to get into this?
What?
Hookup culture.
Hookup culture.
Hookup culture.
Hookup culture. Yeah, dude. I'll
As
fucking talk
in
about
a
it.
stable relationship.
Yeah. Okay, so my thing, I've never been interested in hookup culture. I always thought it was something that I, should have been interested in because, like, growing up, in Florida as a guy, like, it's something that, like, majority of people do, which is fine. Go ahead. But I always felt, like, weird about it. I always felt like, okay, like, sure, we can do this, but do you want to go get coffee later? Do you want to go get lunch or something? It's like that's kind of what I like doing, and that's what makes me happy. I just felt a little like gross and disposable.
Yeah.
If
that goes back to the Tinder thing,
it
right?
goes back to the Tinder thing.
And that's the thing that I think is interesting is like you go on Tinder, girls get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of matches.
Absolutely.
Guys maybe get 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And I think it's difficult sometimes to look at it and be like, you can't make a real meaningful connection.
No, it's tough. It's tough to do that on social media.
In general.
It's tough to do it in general, really.
Yeah.
I
Especially
agree.
nowadays.
But hookup culture, it's definitely a thing. I feel like hookup culture is very one-sided.
Okay.
I think that there's always one person. If you're talking about two people that are hooking up, I think there's always one person that probably wants a relationship and one person that does not want a relationship.
Yeah, dude.
I think that happens more often than we know, because I was always the person that wanted to be in the relationship, and I've been left on, like, I don't know. I've been on the receiving end of it, let's just say.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like that as well.
It's tough.
But what about you? How do you stand on it?
Well, I played in hookup culture for a while.
Okay.
I'll be honest. There was, from junior year of high school until like my sophomore year of college, I was deep in hookup culture.
Deep how?
I was having fun.
Okay. He's a fun guy. He likes to have fun.
I don't know. I just, I hit a point, I'm 22.
Mm-hmm.
I hit a point where I was just like, and this was like in the last year where I'm like, everything just felt hollow.
Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't getting what I wanted out of any of it anymore.
Right.
I'm like, I didn't just want to have the fun anymore.
Yeah.
I wanted more out of it. I wanted an emotional connection. I wanted to have a real connection with somebody.
For sure.
And I wasn't getting that.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of took a step back and I'm like, you know what? I uninstalled all the dating apps. I'm like, I'm going to meet someone in real life. I'm going to have a real relationship.
Right.
I know we were talking about this before, but like, I want to get married before I'm 30.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have a lot of time, but like, preferably in my mid to late 20s is when I want to get married.
Okay.
And start a family at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing to say is like, I think people are waiting too long to get married.
Okay.
Not like in general. I think once you're in your mid to late 30s, getting married, you are in a different place in your life. Especially if you're both in your mid to late 30s. It's like you're going on this path, they're going on this path, and it's like you're spending 40 hours a week working, and then you're giving yourself like maybe 10, 20 hours a week in a relationship.
Yeah.
You're working full-time in relationship and part-time, and then you don't have a common goal or a common interest you're fighting for. That's why people divorce, because they have nothing going on that they're doing together.
And you think that starting younger will combat that?
I think starting younger, you can work together to build a life together.
Mm-hmm.
Build
while
towards
you
something.
have this free time, or like
Free time. Wait, while you have time. So here's the thing. I've surrounded myself with people older,
right?
Mentors of mine, who have good relationships. Perfect example, Brian on the Regular Mainline podcast. Him and Ophelia have an obviously I don't see what happens behind closed doors, but from all the interactions
from
I've
what
had
they
with
portray,
them, what I've seen, they have an incredible relationship. And I see the work-life balance Brian has, and I'm like, that kind of lifestyle where you document and built in time specifically for your family, that's what I want in my life. Mm-hmm. Because being able to say, okay, I'm done with work at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or whenever it is, and say this time's for my kid and for my family, and having that ability to do that is important.
Yeah, shut it down at a certain point.
I think working together on something is important.
Mm-hmm.
And I see other mentors of mine in my life who have that, and they might have gotten married in their later 20s.
Yeah.
But it's like you're building towards a common goal, and that means that you can do something together and fight for something together.
Right.
And I think the problem when people wait is you're going in two different directions, far different.
Yeah.
And like having something you're doing together and working on together means that you can be working, but spending that time together pursuing for a life that you want. And I don't think enough people build life together anymore.
I agree.
Because I look at the older generation, like my grandparents, and they built their lives together.
Right.
Like my grandparents got married younger.
Right.
And my grandfather and my grandmother started a business, and they spent all this time working together towards this thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's enough of that anymore. And I think that's why the divorce rate's gone up, because people aren't doing anything together anymore.
Do you think that you can't do that when you are 30 or past?
I think you can. I just think when you build your career that long and you're where you are, unless you're doing something together, you kind of miss out on the building of your life together. Like I have a lot of assets in my life right now that I've developed as a younger person. Mm-hmm. And I get worried sometimes thinking about marriage and the divorce rate and all that stuff because I'm like, I've built a lot of things, and I'm worried, there's an incentive nowadays for women to get married and then divorce someone.
Yeah.
Because everything favors them in the divorce.
Right.
And that's
most of the time.
Most of the time. But that's the thing that concerns me is like as someone that has substantial assets in life is like, I don't want to get married to someone who's in a different place in their life, who's incentivized to leave me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the culture nowadays is like I see it everywhere. All you see is people talking about, oh, this, oh, that, all the negatives, and being around people that show positives has rephrased how I see life. And I'm like, you know what? I want to find the right person.
Yeah.
I want to get married.
Because you also want to be able to provide for them too.
Well, yeah, and there's that aspect of it is like, and this might not be the most politically correct topic, but like at the end of the day, when I have a wife and I down the line have kids because I want to have kids, I want to be in a position and have the ability that when I have kids, if my wife wants to, I'm not going to force her to do anything. If she wants to, I want her to have the ability to stay home and raise the kids.
Yeah.
Because that's the mindset that I have. Is that something I want to give the opportunity to do?
Right.
Now, what's your perspective?
So my perspective is I want to.
I know you're in a relationship, so this is like a loaded question.
No, not at all. Podcast. Not at all. So Anna, my girlfriend, she's one of the hardest workers I've ever met in my entire life. I don't see her just wanting to be a stay-at-home mom.
That's fine.
I think a lot of people are like that too. Like I also don't want to be staying at home all the time, but I want to be spending time with her as much as possible.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the same with my kids. I'll want to spend time with them and, do that. I do think I agree with you on starting your life like with somebody and growing that. And I think the more time that you have to do that, the better it'll be. Yeah. Because I think like what you're getting at is like, if you, get into a relationship when you're 30, 35, you're already going to have your career. You're already going to be set in your ways and kind of do that. You're going to have less time. Well, and this is the thing.
You have less time to build.
I agree. Yeah. So that's kind of what I agree with you on is you're kind of wasting time, essentially.
And here's the biggest thing is people have a lot more grace for you in your 20s.
Right.
And it's something
you have a bigger grace period.
Grace period. I see it more when you get older. It's like people are in a rush for things. When you're in your 30s and you're mid to late 30s, you get married, you're in a rush to have kids. You're in a rush to do this. You're in a rush to do that. I'm like, if you start younger, you have the time to actually spend, because this is another thing. You have the time to spend with someone to build a true connection before you build a family.
Right.
But that gets me into kids. Like the things I look at for when I have kids.
How many kids do you want to have?
I want to have 4.
4 kids, yeah.
2 boys, 2 girls.
Okay.
That's like my ideal.
Right.
Now I'm a middle child, and my parents had 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I like having the balance.
Yeah.
Things being balanced. Like, yeah. But I'm never gonna let my kids on social media.
No.
Maybe not.
I want to have 2 daughters.
Okay.
I want to have daughters.
Just 2 kids.
Yeah. Well, okay.
You don't want your last name to carry on?
I do.
Okay.
I do. But my thing is like, I'm going to be happy with whatever, of course. But my main thing is like, I want to have as many kids as my wife wants to have,
Oh, you're so passive.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Like, whatever she wants, I'll do.
No, because it really is true,
not
though.
That that's
like,
bad.
No, not at all. I think that it is true. Like, obviously, you have, a jurisdiction in how many kids you want. Okay, I want 2 kids. I grew up, me and my younger brother.
Okay.
And like the bond that my brother and I have is like something that I don't think a lot of people can have. Yeah. And without only having just two siblings, like
that's
one
an interesting
sibling.
Thought.
So I think like having 2 kids is a perfect thing for me. Mm-hmm. But if there was like money was not an object, I would want to have like 10 kids.
10 kids.
Yes. I want a bunch of
So Anna,
kids.
in the comments, actually we'll have you on the podcast.
Yeah.
I want your perspective on 10 kids.
10 kids. So Anna grew up.
Did she grow up in a big family?
Yes.
Okay.
She grew up in a huge family.
How many siblings?
I think she has 8.
Wow.
I think she has 8 siblings.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I've never grown up in that atmosphere.
Me either. I come from an Italian background,
Me too.
so I do have a big family, but
Yeah.
never like multiple siblings. 8 kids, I know.
So,
I think it's 8.
Here's something. I didn't have a good relationship with my brother until recently.
Okay.
It's because we just didn't have anything to relate on.
Yeah. And that's totally understandable too.
But having built the relationship the last year
Yeah.
with my brother, I can't give that up for anything.
No, dude.
But I think it's environmental more than anything else.
Yeah.
But this goes to what we were talking about before of I don't want my kids on social media with how it is
Yeah,
nowadays,
dude.
how toxic the environment is,
So
how
bad.
atrocious I want the biggest influence in my kid's life to be me and my wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, all in the future.
Of course.
Currently single, not dating someone. So like,
Leave in the comments down below.
oh gosh, no, please, no. No. But it's all hopeful things.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I do think naturally
But young people don't talk about this. A lot of young people don't want to get married.
No. And you know what? I was against marriage for a while,
So was I.
for a little bit.
I was so deep into that hole. I was like, I'm never gonna get married.
Yeah, but I do want to get married.
It has when you get around people, because I was only around people that didn't have good, healthy relationships.
Yeah.
All of it was bad, toxic.
You never saw a good example of
Until
one.
recently.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by only good examples
Yeah.
of people in healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And I know it's not all, sunshines and rainbows. I know there's bad issues.
Of course.
But that's when you work with anybody.
Yeah.
But it's finding the time to work through things.
Absolutely.
But that's
Absolutely.
and this is a conversation people in our generation don't have.
Yeah.
And all you hear is people talking like, "Oh, I'm never going to get married," or "I'm never going to do this," or
Yeah.
"I'm never going to do that." And you look, and they list all these reasons. Like I think there was a trend on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I've never been on TikTok. Hallelujah. I think less people should be on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok.
I think less people should be on TikTok. No offense to anybody on it, but I think
No.
I think the way it's structured is bad. Isn't
I
great.
agree. It's another mind numbing.
But I heard of I call it the filter.
Okay.
If anything good is on TikTok, it'll end up on YouTube.
I guess so. Yeah.
But I saw a thing where people were posting like reasons not to get married
okay.
or reasons not to have kids, and I'm like, you have all these reasons, but they're so like
Subjective.
hollow.
Okay.
They're like, well, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, people don't understand. You can do things together with somebody, and it's so much more rewarding.
Yeah.
And people don't get that.
I agree. I get that. I I kind of feel like that about certain religions.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of
Explain.
like Christianity at least.
Mm-hmm. Are you a Christian?
I grew up a Christian.
Okay.
So I noticed this I grew up Catholic. So
Okay.
in my experience, I noticed that I went to Catholic school and blah blah blah. I kind of felt like a lot of it was geared towards becoming more selfish and self-aware of you as a person, not anybody else.
In what
Because
way?
it's you want to go and help people because you want to go to heaven, and you want to do good for other people because you need to get into heaven, and there's
That's an
rewards.
interesting perspective.
And I thought, when I grew up, I was I want to help people because I want to help people, and I want to make people feel better because it,
Because you feel better.
well, yes, but also because I just want to do good things,
Well,
because I want to do good things, not because I'm trying to get into
It feels good
a
to do good.
tier or something after death, if there is something there,
It's so, and I like that perspective. I think there are a lot of places that don't do things justice
Yeah.
because there are specific. I know people that come from a range of religious backgrounds.
Yeah.
And different churches and different synagogues and different temples do things differently.
Yeah.
And talk about things differently.
Yeah.
Some places are like that, but there's some where it's just people don't understand how good it feels sometimes to give.
Yeah, dude.
There's a rewarding aspect. Now, it's not about yourself, but it's there's something about helping your common man
Yeah.
that I think gets lost nowadays.
I
Because
agree.
people the world has gotten very self-centered. If
Yeah.
you look at our generation, everyone's so focused on themselves that sometimes they lose sight of everything else around them.
I agree.
Everything's like, what about me? What about me? What about, it's like, well, what about the rest of everybody?
Yeah, I know. I know.
And I think that's one of the issues a lot of the older generations have, is that there's a lot of people that aren't so focused on how what people do affects other people.
I agree. Yeah, because it's like you can see somebody like, okay, doing this one thing, but then that's going to affect 10 other people. And it's not, you know, something that...
Depends on how you do things.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
But that's a mentality that I think is lost sometimes.
I completely agree.
But that's the thought process, right? It's like you take a step back sometimes. I'm like, I'm in a privileged position.
Yes. No, I'm again like so happy with where I am in life, you know, and I can say that because like of course you're gonna negatively affect people sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, but that's also the things where you kind of have to. You have to better yourself so you can be a better person in the future.
There are lines. I have an issue sometimes because people talk about this, you know. I have an issue sometimes because people say, "Oh, well, you've been given everything." I've not been given anything in my life. No. I've worked for the stuff I needed, and I've earned the stuff I've gotten.
Absolutely.
And I have an issue sometimes when people are like, well, this or that and this and that. I'm like, not for nothing. You know, you don't know my story.
No.
Like, I don't know yours.
No.
I have an issue with the excuses.
I do too. I think that is an excuse when people say, oh, you've been given everything. It's an easy cop-out because they don't work as hard as you do.
Well, and that's the aspect, and I'm not talking about it just for myself, but there are very hardworking people in our generation, in all generations, that do the work and get the results.
Yeah.
And then there are the people that sit there and heckle people because they're like, well, I did this and I didn't get that. It's like
the world doesn't owe you anything.
The world is not fair.
No,
not the world is never fair.
Nope.
You need to work for what you want in your life. And if you're too busy complaining about Joe Schmo doing this, there are plenty of reasons to complain.
Yeah.
But if you're not out there doing the work, you have nothing to complain about.
It's true. It's true.
It's not fair to say, well, why didn't I get that? You didn't work for it.
Yeah.
You didn't put the work in to deserve that.
Yeah.
And just because you think, well, I did, like, and this is something I fell into a pitfall of a while ago and hurt me for a while, was like I looked at everything so black and white. I'm like, well, I put in 10 hours here, but I didn't get the result.
Yeah, I didn't get it back.
And you'll see people that are like, well, I worked 10 hours on this and I got this, and I'm judging myself on other people. Just because I work 10 hours doesn't mean I get that result.
Right.
I might have to work 20 hours or 100 hours. But it's
to get a little smidge of it back.
Get it. But it's that feeling of like, as soon as you put that deep work in and you finally hit that and you're like, okay, you start getting that feedback of getting the things you're not you're owed, but that you're worth.
Absolutely.
But people never go the distance.
Yeah.
People get into something for...
Got to go the distance. Sorry.
To defeat...
Sorry, go ahead.
Nerds. Copyright protection. This is not sponsored. But I look at it and I'm like, people will do the minimal amount of work and expect to get the maximum result.
Yes.
And I look at them, and I was that way for a while, and I'm like...
I think everybody is at some point.
If you put in the maximum effort, there's a ramp-up period. You might not see any result, no result, nothing. And then all of a sudden, everything happens. It might take 10 years for you to become a success, and then people will look at you and be like, well, they'll only ever see the success. They'll be like, well, you've always been successful.
Yeah.
They don't see the 10 years of fighting in the dirt to get there that you had to do.
Well, that's like
they
a lot
see all
of
the stuff behind the scenes. They only see the end result.
That's like a lot of the artists. And again, like going back to social media, I think a lot of people become famous overnight. And but most of the time they don't, you know, because it just because they aren't doing exactly what they got famous for doesn't mean that they didn't work for that position there.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I did theater in high school. Mm-hmm. Theater kind of has something to do with where I am now, even though I'm not in the theater world whatsoever, you know. Okay. But theater, you know, helped me be more comfortable on camera. It helped me, get into like wanting to learn about cameras because I wanted to film like acting reels and like stuff like that. You know, it's like also social media. When I downloaded Instagram, I was in middle school, and it was back in the day. It was all about you young whipper. But when I downloaded Instagram, it was all about pictures.
Yeah,
pictures is what got me into wanting cameras and wanting to learn about it. And
influence there.
Yes, and that's where that in itself, me working on like, posting a cool picture to Instagram, that's work, bro. Like that is that is considered like me getting to where I am now.
But it's the work you're putting in. That's the thing that I think makes certain people different. Are you willing to put the work in? And this is the issue. A perfect example of this is Mr. Beast. Okay. And I use this example a lot. People say, he's always been this successful. Mr. Beast has been doing YouTube for almost 10 years. Yeah. If not a little bit longer. And he didn't take off until the last 2-3 years. And now he's the largest single person with subscribers on YouTube. Yeah. But people would look at him and tell him he's crazy. What are you doing? You're wasting all your time. You're doing this thing. You dropped out of college. What are you doing with this? You're never going to amount to anything. Right. And then all of a sudden, now he's an overnight success. Yeah. And people are like, Mr. Beast. But now he's the exception to the rule. No, he put the work in.
It's because people are taking notice now. You know, it's that's why. But they don't go back into time and see like what had actually
people have short-term memory. And this is the issue with our generation, with all generations, is they're not willing to do the work. Yeah. People look at me like I'm crazy sometimes. And I say this, if you don't think I'm crazy or fanatical about something, I'm not doing enough work. Because if you're not working hard enough for someone to be like, what are you doing? Why are you putting so much time into this thing? You know, like, what are you doing?
Because you don't know what I did before. Right. Yeah, because you don't know like what I had done to get here.
Well, and that's the thing. People call you crazy until you get the result.
Yes, until you actually get like recognition, and that's the unfortunate part. It's like you can do so much, but like once you actually get the recognition, that's when people will start taking notice of it, and that's sad, bro. Well, and
here's the thing: is people look at you like you're crazy, and I know that when people start looking at you like you're crazy, that's when you know you're doing it right. Yes, because that means you're not. Like the average person will look at you like you're crazy when you're doing the work to win. Yep. When you're spending the extra hours working on that side project you're working on, filming that extra thing, staying up until 2 a.m. doing something, putting that work. And people are like, why would you do that? Because that's when you know you're not in the normal section of people that you're pushing to win.
You're not in the same caliber. You're not in the same caliber.
That's why I get so fired up about this.
It's so true, though. It's true.
See it everywhere because people will complain housing prices are too expensive, which prices is up. Don't get me wrong. I'm spending almost $1,600 on a one-bedroom apartment.
It's rough, bro.
One-bedroom, one-bathroom apartment.
It's rough.
That 3 years ago was $900 a month.
Studio apartment, way across. Overinflated. Way across what I need to be. But you know what? I wanted to stay here. I could have moved back home. Nah. But I'm not going to.
Get uncomfortable.
I'm not going to. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to because I want to be here and I want to keep doing what I'm doing. So I have to work to stay here, bro.
But that's the thing. A lot of people would look at that thing and be like, it's too expensive. And they'll complain about it, but they won't put in the work to get to where they need to be.
It's so true.
To be where they want to be.
It's so true. Whew. We only speak facts on Nerd Night. The bar's going to kick us out soon, though.
They're kicking us out.
They kicked us out maybe 45 minutes ago.
Flicking the lights on you. Get out of my house.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
The music's not playing anymore.
Last call, boys. Yeah. Last call.
Last call.
Well, on the last call.
Last call.
Okay. This was awesome. I think we got into some awesome stuff in the end.
Yeah, I really do, actually.
We dug into a lot of Star Wars stuff, which I'm a big nerd about. Nerd Night, we're always going to talk about something nerdy. Not necessarily Star Wars. I love Star Wars. You love Star Wars. It's good stuff. We'll talk about other stuff, but we dug into some of the issues, and this is the kind of the format things are going to be.
Absolutely.
We're going to sit here. We're going to shoot the shit. We have some talking points we're going to get through.
Yeah, absolutely. We always
will. Loose guideline.
Yeah,
very loose guideline. We're going to go with what we feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think this wraps up episode 1. Officially 1.
1.7.5.
In parentheses, 1.75. You might see clips from the other ones as reels. Maybe.
On the Patreon.
Teaser. I'm not doing a Patreon.
Why not? We'll talk about it later.
No. This is an argument. We'll talk about it on episode 2 if we're allowed to shoot one.
If the bar lets us back in here.
Yeah, like if we don't get trespassed.
Yes. Anyways, but guys, thank you so much for coming out. listen to us to, talk the shit.
Yeah, shoot the shit, cut it up.
Yeah. It's been great, guys. Let us know. Please leave a comment down below and show the other guys that we can do this. We're the runners
an
up.
Audience for this.
There is an audience. Show them
like,
that
comment,
we can do it.
subscribe, bro. Guys, like, comment, subscribe. It's been William. Peace.
Tyler,
Yeah,
peace
have a
out,
great
guys.
night, y'all.
Have a good one.
See ya.